What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs 2021-2022 season preview. I've been doing these for years. You guys have probably noticed that the player previews stopped after a certain point. I got really busy. They were taking up a lot of time, and also a lot of people weren't watching them, to just be completely fair. Nobody was really interested in them, so I said, forget those videos. We're going to do more review videos after games, previews probably if I have the opportunity. We're just going to be doing a bunch of that stuff. And of course, the rumor and news videos will be what the bulk of what this channel is, because it always has been. So if you are a Leaf fan and you like the news and rumors and reviews after games and stuff like that, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I know there's a ton of you guys that just keep coming back that aren't subscribed. It only takes a second and it helps me a lot, and it's completely free, so please do that. But I wasn't sure how much research or how much thought I wanted to put into this video before coming here and filming it. But what I came to think was, this video doesn't require a lot of research. This video doesn't require a lot of thinking, a lot of writing stuff down, a lot of brainstorming. As Leaf fans, you and I know, you watching this right now, I'm talking directly to you. You're probably wearing some sort of Leafs paraphernalia right now. The game is tonight. I'm recording this on the first game of the season. I have to work. I'm going to miss the first game of the season. I can't believe that. But I'm talking directly to you. We have been through this every single year. For the last how many years? Like 5 years, right? They make the playoffs, they look promising, and then they lose in the first round. It's the same song and dance every single year. But we're still here. I swear I was like every single year, I'm like, if they lose again in the first round, I will not watch another game. I went as far to take down the Leafs items in my room. As you can see, well, you can't see fully, but those things are back up. The Toronto Maple Leafs are something that we continually keep coming back to, and regardless of the result, we still support. But every year we have that same confidence that they can do something that they haven't done before, and that's actually win a playoff round. And then go farther and farther and farther and farther, and hopefully finally win the Stanley Cup. I haven't seen anything close to it in my lifetime regarding the Toronto Maple Leafs. I've only been alive since 1996, so that just tells you a lot. I've seen nothing remotely close. So why is it different this year? We'll look into the roster. We'll see if this team looks better, but we need to go over some news and notes. At the time I'm recording this video, Mitch Marner took the optional skate. It looks like he will be playing tonight in the home opener. I could be wrong. Obviously, we know Ilya Mikheyev is going to be out 8 weeks. He had some surgery on, I think, his thumb. And Austin Matthews is going to miss the first 3 games of the season as it stands right now. So the Leafs are going to be a little shorthanded, but they're playing a shorthanded Montreal Canadiens team as well. I want to address this right now. In regards, really quick, to the Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price, one of my favorite players in the NHL, probably one of my favorite goalies of all time, as I grew up playing goalie. He's taking some time off. I wish him the absolute best. I know he'll never see this, but I think the more and more that people address this and say nice things about Carey Price, it eventually all gets out, and everybody continually and continuously can continue to bring stories like this to the forefront and understand that these issues do go on with everybody in terms of mental health and other issues like that. So Carey Price, we wish you the absolute best, and I can't wait to see him back in the net for the Montreal Canadiens, because there is no Montreal Canadiens without Carey Price, and that's just how it is. So let's start off this video looking at the roster as it stands right now with a random Dermot video that was playing on the side. Every time I go on the website, that's what plays. But anyways, Michael Amadio made this team. Obviously, we know Brooks was placed on waivers and was taken by the Montreal Canadiens, who were playing. I'm not expecting too much from him. He's just going to be a depth guy that plays on the 4th line and probably scratched every once in a while if they're trying out new guys, or by the deadline they acquire more forward depth. Michael Bunting, a guy that I'm very excited for. He's a guy that played really well in Arizona last year. considering that team isn't that great. Him scoring the way he did, and he looked really good in the preseason. I think that he's going to be a welcome addition to this team. I'd like to see him stick around in the top 6 as long as possible, but it looks like when Mikheyev comes back, they might have to give him that spot back. But, I mean, if Bunting plays his way in there, you can't exactly take it away from him. Pierre Engvall, definitely a guy that has a lot of things going for him, but he doesn't seem to put it all together. So I'm hoping that he's able to continue a pretty decent career start, I guess. I don't want to completely trash the guy, but I haven't seen enough from him to be like, okay, you know, he's bad, or, oh, you know, he's really good. It's kind of just like he's in the middle. He hasn't really shown what he's capable of yet. David Kampf, a guy that I think a lot of people are going to understand that he is a defensive style forward. He's really good. I'm going to be probably locked in on him this year. I want to see how he contributes on the defensive end. Andre Kasha, a guy that if he stays healthy will be a really welcome addition to this team. He's probably going to see most time on the third line. Definitely a good depth piece if he could stay healthy. Kerfoot, again, a good two-way forward, a guy that I think a lot of Leaf fans are not really giving enough credit for. I really like Kerfoot. He plays really well in both ends of the ice, and that third line could turn into a really good defensive line, and we're going to see a lot of that line shutting down some big-name players this year, hopefully. Mitch Marner, we'll get into him in a little bit more detail, but in the regular season, Mitch Marner just goes on an absolute tear. And if you go back and look at his previous playoff numbers, he's actually not too bad in the playoffs, but this past year, he didn't impress a lot of people, and I mean, rightfully so. He didn't exactly have the best playoff success, but listen, the guy's going to tear it up in the regular season, and I'm looking for a step forward in the regular season, but also in the playoffs, because that's ultimately where we want to see this team succeed. Austin Matthews, the guy does it all, but definitely didn't have the best postseason. So once he's healthy again, he'll probably score 50 goals this year. The guy just does it. And much like Mitch Marner, I want to see that next step taken forward in the playoffs. Mikheyev, we touched on him. Listen, when he comes back, when he's healthy, I want to see the Leafs gradually bring him up the lineup, especially if some guys aren't working in the top 6. But if a guy like Michael Bunting is really killing it in the top 6, or if somebody else has taken that spot, I'm not exactly going to I just don't want to give Mikheyev the opportunity if somebody is outplaying him. Let's just leave it at that. I was trying to find the proper words for it, but I just don't want somebody to lose a good spot in the top 6 if they're actually playing good enough to be there. Mikheyev has often shown that he can't finish. He's a very good skater. He doesn't have hands, and he doesn't have the greatest shot. So if he can start to finish out front of the net, deflect pucks in, and get some greasy goals, then sure, maybe we can keep him up there. William Nylander, really good season for him, and of course he was the leading scorer in the postseason. I'm looking for him to be a little bit more of a point producer in the regular season, and in the postseason I need that extra step, even though I believe he did take it, but I want to see a regular season step from William Nylander. He's had really good regular seasons, but I think that there's more to his game that he hasn't given us yet, and I think that's only good for us. Nick Ritchie, big welcome addition to this guy. Huge, big body. He can fight. He can hit. 6'3", 236 pounds. He's going to be in that top 6, probably playing on the top line most of the time. And he's just a really good welcome addition to this team. Wayne Simmons back on the team. Him and Spezza, I guess I can combine them both. 2 veteran players that the Leafs wanted back for depth. Spezza is a guy that's going to give you the points. You know, he's still a really good producer at his age, and Wayne Simmons is going to give you that physical side of the game. And of course, we're welcoming back John Tavares, the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm really excited. He looked really good in the preseason, and this is his first game back since the game against Montreal in the playoffs, in terms of games that actually count, not just the preseason. And if he plays the way he's been playing the whole time he's been a Leaf, I'll be excited to have him back. On the blue line, it's relatively the same. A guy not listed here is Timothy Liljegren, who's probably going to get into a bunch of games, especially if Dermott doesn't pan out. But TJ Brody, just has been fantastic since becoming a Leaf. Really good on the defensive side, the best partner that Riley's had since he's been a Leaf. So very excited to see him continue to be that defensive dynamite guy. Travis Dermott, like I just mentioned, he's been kind of an off and on guy since coming here. I need to see him take another step this year, and if he doesn't, a guy who has been taking a step is Timothy Liljegren, and I think he's ready, but Dermott still has more to give in my eyes. Justin Hall, good year last year. He had some ups and downs. I really, really like the guy. Some people seem to think I'm not a fan of him. I really do enjoy Justin Hall, but I want to see that stability on the blue line continuously from him the entire season, because Jake Muzzin, who's up next here, is a guy that can carry that line. And I think Jake Muzzin and Justin Hall are going to have a good year. I'll just say it now. I really do believe that this defensive line, if they stay healthy, they're going to look real good. Morgan Riley, listen, it's his contract year. We'll have to get into that as the season goes on. But Morgan Riley always provides a bunch of offense, and I think this year he's going to give you guys a ton of offense because he knows he's in that contract year, and he's going to maximize every dollar that he can, and that's only good for this team. Rasmus Sandin, I mean, the guy has looked really good at times, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, he has some work to do. This is his year to take a step. There's a few guys on this team that have said that they need to take a step, and this is the year where Sandy needs to solidify his place on this team, because there could be some openings coming up if some guys leave. In the crease, two guys that I can kind of put into the same boat. Campbell and Mrazek haven't played really full seasons as starting goaltenders. They're going to split a lot of time, but they've both gone through their own injury troubles at times as well. So as long as this tandem can stay healthy, they've both put up pretty good numbers in their career. So I'm looking forward to seeing both of these guys in the crease, and I think they're going to do a really good job. But those are the main guys on this team. That's the roster, unless there's call-ups or other things like that. I was going to go into the points a little bit. We don't have to go in depth here. I just want to show you guys kind of where the points were at for the regular season in the 2020-2021 season. Of course, your core four were at the top. Marner was 67 and 55. Matthews was 66 and 52. 50 and 56 for Tavares, and 42 and 51 from Nylander. Top scoring defenseman was Riley. You know, you had Hyman, but he's moved on. Spezza added some. Muzzin added some. Kerfoot. You go down the line, this team had a pretty decent amount of depth scoring, but some of the guys that they've brought in, I think, are going to do really good. We don't have to harp on the playoffs anymore, but again, Nylander was the point producer here with Kerfoot and Spezza. One more goal from Matthews and one from Marner changes the whole series. And, you know, having Johnny T in the lineup obviously changes that. Now, before we go any further, again, the Leafs practice lines from before the Marner incident: Ritchie, Tavares, Marner, Bunting, Kerfoot, Nylander, Engvall, Comp, Kasha, Simmons, Amadio, Spezza, and the extras was Matthew and Semyonov, and then Riley, Brody, Muzzin, Hall, Sandin, splitting time with Dermott and Liljegren. Campbell, Mrazek. Campbell starting game 1. Mrazek is starting game 2. So this is what the lines will look like without Matthews in there. I've put together lines that I believe will happen until Mikheyev comes back as well. Liljegren and Amadio as the scratches. You could see Liljegren here instead of Dermott, but once they're fully healthy, this is what I would go with, and that's more than likely what they are going to go with. You could also see them move Kampf up here and have Kerfoot, Kampf, Kasha, and move Engvall down to the fourth line, which honestly I would do, but again, you could see some changes there. But you know, this video, I don't want it to be too long. I don't want it to be too crazy here. What I want to say is that also I just got a text notification saying that Mitch Marner will be a game time decision. By the time you guys watch this, hopefully you're watching this before the game starts. I'm posting it way before the game starts. We'll see if Marner plays. Hopefully he does, because this Leafs team is already kind of injured. But what we need to understand is that this team is not going to show us anything until the playoffs. If they go out on a tear in the regular season and they look fantastic, we'll say, listen, we've seen this before. They go out there, they're winning a bunch of games, they're playing really well, but in the playoffs, they can't get it done. So we have to see this team get it done in the playoffs before we can go, okay, we're happy about this. This is good. This team is good. We can move forward and say, listen, we're happy with this team and where the progress is going. There's no progress until they win a round in the playoffs. So my preview, my prediction will be that the Leafs will make the playoffs. They'll finish in the top 3 in their division, and they are going to win a playoff round this year. I'm going to be optimistic. There's been times where I've been like, no, I'm not really sure about it. I think this Leafs team is truly the all-or-nothing season. This is the all-or-nothing team. If they don't win a round, Dubas is probably losing his job. You can argue Shanahan might lose his job. Sheldon Keefe, who just got an extension, that doesn't matter. They've done this with coaches before. If a new GM comes in, they more than likely could fire the coach. So this team could lose everything. They could trade players, their depth, their whatever, their core, they could be split up, whatever. This is the all-or-nothing season. If the Leafs are playing really good towards the deadline, you're going to see an all-or-nothing approach from this front office. They're going to trade pieces that you wouldn't expect them to. They're going to work their magic with the cap again, because even this year people were like, how are they supposed to acquire talent? And they got, Foligno and Rittich and Ned, and they were acquiring depth. This is going to be the all-or-nothing season for this team. They have to do something. And if they don't, this is going to be the start of a retooling/rebuilding once again. I don't care what anybody says. It's a rebuild if you have to tear it down again. Even if it's a few players, you're tearing down what you thought was already a contender. That means you're rebuilding it. Especially if you're losing the coach, the GM, whatever. You're going to have to rebuild it. But I don't want it to get to that spot. This Leafs team needs to come out there. They need to impress in the regular season, but they also need to impress in the postseason. So we're not going to see progress until they win a round. So this video went longer than I expected. If you are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the game tonight. I'm going to be at work, but I'm going to try to take my breaks kind of at the end, so that way I can watch a lot of the game. I do have an hour lunch break, so maybe I could do that and watch a period or so. But let me know what you guys think. I'm excited. It's hockey. It's fun. Go Leafs, go. Peace.